Hickok 45 here. I wish I had a firearm, maybe some little firearm tucked away in my pocket. Now let's shoot some steel. Oh yeah. All right. It smacked it, not too hard. You know why, you saw the title. This is the P365. You might have heard of these firearms. They've been around and they're pretty popular. And this one's the P365-380. Okay, I think it's the proper name of it instead of the P365 and then, you know, .380 like you would normally write. So they call it the -380, I think. And that's the model number, at least from what I saw. And it's been out for a little bit, but I knew you were asking about it, and I thought, well, I've been shooting it for a couple of days. So I thought we'd tell you what we think about it. Okay, come on over here and look at it. Ain't it pretty? I bet you've never seen a firearm look like that. Except for this one that looks just like that. And this was the 9mm, and it's a little heavier, okay? So 380, I could probably find a 380 bullet and a 9mm bullet for you new folks to shooting, and let you gander at the difference. At least this particular cartridge is range ammo, you know, hardball, full metal jacket. You know, a 380 is basically the same diameter, but it's a little, get them lined up there. Yeah, a little shorter. As you can see, the case is a little shorter, and the entire cartridge ends up being a little bit shorter. The 9mm Kurtz has been called lots of things. 9mm short. It shoots a lighter bullet. Excuse me, generally 95, 100 grains. And I think I swallowed another bug. I may have to chase down my water. But so depending on what type of ammo you're using, if it's defensive ammo, range ammo, or whatever, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Most of it that I ever see is like there's 99 grains, you know, HST, 100 grains, 95 grains, you know, generally in that. I don't know that, you know, this is 95, that you're going to run across a bunch of ammo for that cartridge that is like 110 grains, 115. I don't know if there is any. There may be. But that's what most of it runs. So it's a lighter bullet, not moving quite as fast. And what does that do for you? Anything? Well, let's shoot some and see. Let's see what I think about the feel of it, because that might be important to you. Okay? 380. Let's put one in the chamber. Pa-pow, pa-pow. Yeah. What it does for you is maybe something you don't like. If you're even marginal about a 9mm, you'd rather carry a 45 or a 10 or that kind of thing, and you really feel like it's a major compromise when you drop down to 9, you might not want to carry a 380, okay? And that's just a fact. A lot of people would not. But one thing you do get, there are benefits. And one of them is it's an easier slide to rack. You don't have to have as heavy a spring, recoil spring on a 380. And so, at least on these guns, because they're a lock breech system, they're not blowback like a lot of 380s are. And some 380s, for as mild a cartridge as it kind of is, with that blowback system, it just feels almost like a 9. You got some big blocky bolt, you know, flying back and everything. But this has the same system as the 9. So it's very comfortable to use, and I get a lot of people, this is the 9. Yeah, there's a difference there in the difficulty and pulling, or the strength that required to pull that back. And, you know, I think we all get a lot of questions about that. What firearm, you know, works for me or my grandmother or whoever who has maybe an issue with strength in their hands, arthritis, you know, whatever. That this is very difficult for them to work a slide. And this is kind of like the Shield EZ, you know, addresses that issue, and this kind of does too, okay, 380. So that's one advantage. And then when you're shooting it, okay, I'll load a mag while I'm yakking. And then as you fire the thing, as I pointed out, you also get less recoil, less felt recoil. And guess what? Less felt recoil equals less recoil. Pretty smart, huh? And yeah, and maybe quicker follow-up shots. and maybe less, well, recoil sensitivity. If you are sensitive to recoil, very much recoil, then it could be the answer prescription for you. Because again, it's not like you're not shooting a real gun, a real bullet. It is basically the same diameter, just a little slower, a little bit lighter. And nobody I've ever met, I've met a lot of people at my age, you can probably imagine that. And I've really yet to meet anybody that has expressed to me that a 380 ACP doesn't hurt when you get hit with one, or that they wouldn't mind being shot with one, you know, or they would just keep doing what they're doing if they got shot with a 380. So you got that issue. We could talk about that and argue that all day long, right? And there's some pretty good ammo. I got some HST right here, and 380. And I have been known to carry a 380, maybe in this little LCP or LCP Max. You know, sometimes when you can't really work it out to carry a gun, there's always the LCP or some little 380, right? And not that it's not a gun, but so you got all that to think about with the 380. But if you don't have a firearm yet, and you're really new to it, you want a pistol, and maybe you shot one somewhere, somebody's, and maybe it was a 9, and it just seemed like it kicked a lot to you. You just can't imagine ever getting used to that, even in a 9mm. Well, I don't know, you just look at a 380. It's better than no firearm, right? Okay, what a resounding compliment. It's whenever you say something is better than none, right? All right, but that's not that bad. It's not that bad. 380 ain't that bad. All right. I kind of like it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a real gun. 380. We tend to, we experienced shooters and people that shoot 44 Magnum and 45-70 and all that kind of stuff all the time. We can very easily get to where we turn our nose up at things like this. I'm going to move over here and see if I can hit the gong with it. There we go. I got to see it before I can hit it. That's a prerequisite. I do well to hit it when I can see it. All right. Let's see. Where should I hold? What do you reckon? Okay. It's a good start. All right, I don't want it to look like a fluke. Okay, it's holding too low. Too low. Sweet little shooter at, you know, 380s are fun to shoot. Of the firearms I've ever fired, especially, I don't know if this is mid-size. You know, some 380s are so small that in terms of the felt recoil, you feel like you're shooting a 9mm because the gun is so small. But when you get to a firearm that has a little heft to it, a little weight, it's the 380 is fun to shoot. I had a Browning BD, was it a BDL? Was that the name of it? And I haven't had too many 380s, but I have fired a few that were, you know, regular firearms, and at least this big, maybe bigger. And I mean, they are always fun to shoot. They're just soft to shoot, soft recoiling, and you know, you're less likely to develop a flinchitis problem, of course. Now, in terms of the difference between these two, the 9mm, you don't have either one yet. You know, I don't know. You know, they basically have the same mags. I got the 9 out. I'll shoot it and compare a little bit that way. Maybe I'll load what I'm talking here. These mags, you notice they've got a kind of a sleeve in there, and so these basically looks like the same mags. Same size and everything. Either one will interchange. I mean, they work, but they interchange. Although I saw somebody shooting 380 out of a 9mm, it might have been Such, and it was actually working, you know, with the 9 mag. So if you're in a pinch, you know, you're in a survivalist situation, maybe you still have a chance to fire the gun, right? But I'm sure this is going to be more reliable probably over the long term, having that, you know, adjustment on the magazine. So that's the difference in the mag. And in the actual gun, the firearm, where's my loader? The slide has been lightened, okay? I mean, think about it. It's less power, So you can't just rebore it to 380, have everything exactly the same. Same heaviest slide or same weight slide, same recoil spring and all that sort of thing, because it's a lighter round. You'd not have reliability. All that has to be tweaked by the engineers that know what they're doing, right? And so the slide has been lightened here and there. Maybe I'll show you here. They drilled some holes in it and taken a little of the metal out here and there. Not a dramatic difference, but it's lighter. And then of course the barrel, I'll show you too, is thinner. And so it's not as heavy. Maybe I'll do that real quick. These are pretty easy to fit. Now I'm just field stripping these, which is what you would do in order to be safe and to keep your firearm clean, right? You would field strip it to clean it. Take it apart, just like that. And keep them separate. Because boy, they do look alike, don't they? They do look alike. Sig P365. Okay, so put the frames aside. So here we go with the, you see on the recoil spring, same looking recoil spring, except the 380, which is on your right, you know, it's got the orange marking. It looks the same size and everything. It just indicates a lighter spring weight, I'm sure, okay? Yeah, I might be wrong, but I'm sure, right? A lot of people are sure even when they're wrong, right? And then on the barrels, a little bit of the meat is not there on the 380. It doesn't have to be as heavy, and it's not. So the 380, as you can see, yeah, a lot less thick. Probably in the chamber and everything back in here. You got a little meat that's not there perhaps. So you got a smaller barrels, it's lighter. I actually weighed them. I forget what the difference was on the barrels. And then the slide itself, you can see the lightning cut. See those holes drilled in there, and you know, different. The 9's on your left, and then up here and all that. So they just lightened the slide. How they did it, I guess, not that important. But I thought I'd show you. It's simple enough. Get the right barrel and the right slide. On this field stripping, it's a cleaning field stripping, right? Basically, it's how you clean it. If you're new to firearms, you would want to do it like this, and then clean it, put it back together, and shoot it some more, right? That's what you do. Yeah, had something there intelligent I was going to say, I think, if you can believe that. Oh, I know. I was just going to point out the difference in the weight, because I did tell you that the 9 is heavier, and it really is. Now, when you pick it up, you don't think, wow, what a heavy gun, what a light gun, but I can tell the difference just picking them up. You know why? Because there's 3 ounces difference. You know, it's like 0.4 versus 0.5 or something, but it's right at 3 ounces difference, and that difference is in the slide and the barrel and all that. The frames are essentially the same, magazines and everything, weight-wise. So 3 ounces doesn't sound like much, does it? If I go on a diet and lose 3 ounces, I'm not going to get too excited, right? You're not either. But in a firearm that weighs like 15 or 12 or whatever it weighs, 3 ounces is a lot. So just something to keep in mind. That would be an advantage. That would be a plus. You got the soft recoiling plus, easier follow-up shots. You got the easier slide manipulation, weaker recoil spring, and takes less strength if you've got finger problems or arthritis or anything like that. I used to know a guy named Arthritis. And then also, you know, there's another point. Well, lighter. Yeah, lighter in your pocket. Okay, you got it in the pocket holster. It's not going to, guess what, weigh as much. It's not going to feel as heavy. And again, they fit this pocket holster about the same. So essentially the same size. They did take some weight. Now, I think the 9 slide is a little higher too, just a tad. I put them on a board, and it's not much. It's about like that. So that's where some of that weight is. Let me get them even again. Yeah, if you get them even, you can. There's just a little bit of difference in the height of the 9mm. A little more metal there, and then what they took out of this one too. So yeah, they had to take some metal off of that, or it wouldn't be 3 ounces lighter. You know, that in the barrel. All right, so that's what you get. Now, one of the questions you have, of course, is, well, yeah, I need something really small, really light. But now for me, I don't know. I like the gun, but if I'm going to carry a 380, it's going to be because it's smaller and lighter, not just lighter probably. Like this, that's why I brought the LCP Max out, because it has the same capacity as these, you know, with a flush magazine. And it weighs, get ready, 4 ounces less than even the 380 Sig. So you're talking a 4 ounce jump between these two, and a 3 ounce between these two. Okay, forget the exact numbers, but it's you know, three ounces. This is 3 ounces heavier than the 380 Sig, and this is 4 ounces heavier than the LCP Max. All right, just the empty weight with the magazine in it, but no ammo. So you have that to consider, and there are other 380s. That's kind of the go-to gun, you know, for a while now. If you really want something so small, you almost don't know you have it. You compromise a bit on your chambering and going to 380, but for that compromise, you want reliability, of course, essential, but you want something really light and pretty small. You know, that's generally the thing. So I don't know, between these two, yeah, I would probably choose although the Sig, I think, is a better made gun. It feels more quality and everything. But other than that, I'm going to probably go with the LCP because it's reliable too, it's been my experience. And it's a lot lighter and it's pretty much smaller. Okay, if I'm going 380, I think. But I'm not you. Aren't you lucky? You might be nothing like me. So the other thing I was going to do before I let you go up on your merry way is mix up these magazines now. Okay, now I recognize that one, and yeah, let's look at the top. I can tell for sure. Yeah, get that spacer there. It's pretty obvious. Okay, so that's the 380. This is the 380 because it says 380 around the barrel. Yeah, and so here we go. So what I thought I'd do is shoot, you know, these two like I do sometimes, back to back, and let's load this 9. And you know, I've actually not done this yet. I want to see what the different. That's a XL mag. It's one I carry. So just raising it will extend a little bit when I use it. But I just have the 2 mags for the. I think I'll start with the one without the lip on, just to get apples to apples here. Same feel exactly. I'm going to make them both hot. Okay, that's not hard to do. It's almost 100 degrees today with humidity to match, I think. Okay. I just want to get a feel for the recoil more than anything, the sensation of that. Okay, 9mm. Let me get my ears in tight. All right. Yeah, 3 shots of 9. Oh, baby, what a difference. 9 on the Cowboy. 9mm. All right, 380 on the Cowboy. Oh, man. Let's empty them now. How about on the paper? Okay, I don't have to be too scientific with this one. You know, often I'll shoot different guns and I'm not so sure. I'm sure this one, you could probably see it on screen. There's quite a significant difference. And I don't think of this as a hard kicking firearm, the 9mm, but boy, this is really soft shooting. It just really is. Let me do that again. I'll just shoot everything out of the 9 here. Oh, this holds some more ammo. All right. So I can give you my lasting impression. Yeah, good shooting guns. I think they'll sell. Where's my, there's my, okay, 380. Yeah, it's a sweetie. It's a sweetie. I think I could, is there such a thing as more highly recommended than maybe when I first got it and shot at some, or just thought about it? Why do you need one of these in 380 necessarily? You got all these better, smaller 380s around. Well, better, I don't know about better. This is a great gun. You know, it's high quality. Not that Ruger's not, but it's different feel, okay? But I could see how it would really appeal, possibly to you, just depending. Again, if you've got any strength issues in your hands, any arthritis, if you are really recoil sensitive, maybe you are and don't even realize it. Maybe you just can't hit anything when you shoot, but you don't mind the recoil that much. You just can't hit anything. Well, maybe that's actually what it is, you know, until you get more experience, okay? So it could be, if you're a new shooter, we always have the caveat, if, you know, if you're new to shooting and you went to shoot these two, my guess is you'd really want to come home with this 380, probably. I know I would if I had not shot much, because it's just as easier to shoot, feels good, very low recoil, very nice, and where this is a little jumpy compared with that, quite a bit, okay? But then again, I think I might have said in the Sunday shoot around, if you're new to shooting and yeah, I got to have the 380. That's just easier to hit with, feels better. I can shoot it faster, plenty accurate and all that. And you shoot a lot of guns over the next year. You're just getting into shooting, and you shoot even somebody's 9 in that. You shoot all sorts of firearms at the range or whatever, buy a few different ones and shoot. You get better at it, you get more skilled. You even get a 357 Magnum revolver because you've been watching my video and falling in love with some of my guns. Then you go back and revisit it. If somebody at the range has a 9mm Sig like this, and you shoot it, and you say, yeah, that thing really seemed hoppy, jumpy when I shot it before when I was making this decision, but yeah, I can handle that okay. Well, yeah, you're a more skilled shooter now, and you might end up trading the 380, or you keep it and buy one of these. I don't know, that, just be ready for that. But I tell you what, if you don't have a lot of experience, and like I say, if you're recoil sensitive at all, that thing is sweet. It really is. I like it. One more thing before I let you go, I'll try a couple of hollow points in it. I don't think I've done that yet. I want to make sure it fires hollow points, okay? And so yeah, it sells for about $500, or at least the MSRP. And like I say, the biggest difference is just the slide, where it's been lightened some, ever so. Now, in terms of holsters, it's not really smaller. I think it's the same thickness. But in terms of height, there seems to be just a bit of difference maybe. And then the barrel, of course, is lighter. But down here, the frame and the fire control group, they're the same. I could interchange these, which I've done, and put the 9mm slide on it, okay? So, I mean, that's, the fire control group is the same. You know, you could, if you've got a 9 and you're not liking the recoil or something, I guess if it's available, you could buy just the slide and assembly and barrel and everything, and you know, make it into a 380 when you want to. Okay, now after I've said that, this is the 9, right? Yeah. Okay, 380. Yep, 380. All right, we're going to try holler points in some HST, because yeah. Although with 380, some people will just carry hardball because they want the penetration, but I think the hollow points now in 380, you know, the engineering and the design is such that I would probably go with hollow points. They're gonna do as best, probably as well as a hardball. I don't know, but we need to make sure they work. You know, I could try the gong again, couldn't I? Since I'm not going for accuracy, I just want to see if they'll function. All right. Yeah, thought I heard it, but not sure. Okay, fed those. So, in case you were not aware of it, you know, this incredibly popular, you may hate it, but incredibly popular. You know, we talk about the AR-15 being like the #1 sporting rifle and rifle on the market today by, I guess, a large margin. I don't know, in terms of handguns or smallish, you know, micro 9s or this thing, I don't tell them how many they've sold of these. Had some problems early on, but they apparently have tweaked them and gotten that remedied. I noticed in some of the literature I was reading, a review somewhere, it said that this gun was extensively tested at Sig. So I think those are the exact words. I said, yeah, I'll bet, after that release of the first one. So that's all the lies I know about it, I think. It's a nifty little option, okay, if you like. You may not like 380, but you might, I've started to say if you like 380, you might not prefer 380 over 9, but if you shoot it, I don't know, it could come to your head that, well, you know what, I'd really rather have a 9, but man, I shoot this thing so well that I'm going to go with it. I mean, that could, I'm not trying to sell it, but it's something worth looking at. Nice shooter. So P365, you know I like it. The gun I'm carrying today, in fact, is right here. This is John brought his 9 out because I've on all of mine I've done something to them. I've got Talon grips on them. This one I've got the Wilson Combat lower on it, the XL lower. You know, so most of mine are, it's just a little something different enough that I wanted to be able to compare really apples to apples when I fired them, and maybe it wouldn't have been necessary because there's definitely an obvious difference in the recoil. Even I can see it. I'll let you all go now. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.